Morning, folks. No tap tap. I just lit my cigarette before I realized I hadn't turned on the camera. Sorry. Here. There you go. Anyway, turn off Discord here. Just been extolling the virtues of the Newfoundland dog, which is the next dog I will own. But also, in my opinion, the ultimate dog for people. Unless you're afraid of dogs. If you're afraid of dogs, don't get a Newfoundland. Consider socializing with Newfoundlands if you're afraid of dogs. That should help immensely. Immense being a word that can be applied to Newfoundlands quite easily. Newfoundlands are wonderful dogs. They're very gentle. They're very big. They're quite often goofy. And may in fact be part of where the expression goofy Newfie came from. For the record, the only creature that should be referred to as a Newfie is the dog. Calling a human being a Newfie is pretty pejorative. And it's one of the few things that I actually do get not offended, but irritated by. Generally, it's because people are ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I'm not using the Newfoundland connotation of ignorant, which is rude and intentionally offensive. Ignorant in the simple fact that they aren't aware of how offensive that phrasing can be, especially goofy Newfie. The thing with that is, though, that Newfoundlanders are earning that title hard lately. I know if you're on the mainland and you have Newfoundlander friends, you're going to challenge that assumption because, oh, they're great people and they're wonderful and great to party with. Yeah, that's all true. We're very passionate people. We tend to be very forthright, straightforward, a little rough, sometimes fairly crude. But there's a very, very seedy underside to Newfoundland society, Newfoundland culture. You have to first realize that we began as a prison colony, or at least that's a significant portion of our heritage. And because of that, quite a lot of people here in Newfoundland are very willing to accept government control. Our politicians are, or can be famed for, as Brian Peckford, I believe, put it, selling the shop. Basically surrendering control of resources right out from under us. To the federal government especially, to foreign interests as well. The welfare system has absolutely ruined Newfoundland society, in my opinion. Where we were once very industrious, hardworking, partly because we had no choice. This is one hell of a harsh climate we live in. If you've never fished the cold-ass North Atlantic, consider yourself blessed. There's a reason my hands are this size. That's biological adaptation. But Newfoundland is known for great acts of valor. I'm working on a Newfoundlandia series. Slow going because I have to teach myself how to edit videos, and I'm not real good with scripted stuff. But one of the big problems with Newfoundland culture is that, and you can go right back to Joey Smallwood, who basically said in an interview, this is on YouTube, that Newfoundland joining Confederation was as close to communism as he could get us at the time. Joey Smallwood is still regarded as almost a mythic figure in Newfoundland history. And the fact of his communist attitude is hidden very well by a lot of... it's not taught in school. It's not something that's talked about. But personally, I think Joey Smallwood is the biggest reason why Newfoundland didn't join America. Now, that was an option to seek American statehood or territorial status as one of the... Now, sorry, I have to give you a quick history lesson, otherwise you won't understand what I'm getting at. In 1949, when Newfoundland was... when Newfoundlanders were given the option to vote for what status we would have, if I recall correctly, Confederation with Canada, an application for statehood, continued independence, or a return to the British Crown, to our colony status, were the four options. On the second ballot, because the first ballot came back inconclusive, the option for American statehood had been removed. And as such, we ended up, thanks in no small part to Smallwood's campaigning. There's a great deal of shady shite that happened around him, but we'll leave that alone. I can't go into all that in a short video. But thanks to his campaigning, we ended up with Canada. I think that was an absolutely terrible choice. Within a few years of Confederation with Canada, many of the outport communities along the coast of Newfoundland were all but forcibly resettled. Basically, people were told they had to centralize, or they wouldn't get the services that they had come to depend on, such as the coastal boats, things like that. So, yeah, there's a bit of a repetition to history. But nowadays, with the welfare system, what we tend to see is that same industriousness that kept Newfoundland families alive in extremely harsh circumstances has now led to people who are very, very clever at gaming the system. I currently happen to be on welfare, but I have no interest in gaming the system. I want off of welfare. I want to get a job. I want to work. I want to build my own business, which is what I'm doing partly with this and partly with the shed behind me. I'm trying to build something rather than depend on the government, which I don't think is trustworthy anymore, to feed and clothe me. And this isn't my first time on welfare, but hopefully it'll be my last. There are some barriers in my personal life that I don't wish to talk about, not the least of which is addictions, that have led me to some hard circumstances. But one of the things that I see from the welfare system is that it's a trap. It does not provide you enough funds or any sort of aid to get off of welfare. It simply provides you subsistence. I know that in other parts of the world, or the Western world at least, the welfare system is designed and operated in such a way that it provides people opportunity to get off of the welfare system. That's not the case in Newfoundland. If you're on welfare, you are barely, if you're lucky, making ends meet, and generally you have to use food banks and depend on the government for transportation to medical appointments, things like that. I have had jobs that I've worked with guys who have come off of welfare to take these jobs, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they have looked at their paycheck and looked at what their situation was like when they were on welfare and realized that with the government benefits for medicine, things like that, they were actually better off on welfare because they could also go and find a job under the table, which would provide more funds for them. So yeah, the welfare system's not great. And in the outports, in the rural areas, too significant a portion, too high a population percentage is content to be welfare families. Intergenerational welfare is a big problem. The baby bonus is not a great idea either, because all that really does is incentivize young women to get knocked up, forget about their schooling, and continue having kids until they reach a point where they're essentially pulling in 5-6 figures a year because they have so many children. And plus then it also incentivizes them to be complete cunts and go after the fathers, who may very well want to be traditional fathers, but aren't given that option because welfare and child support is a better choice. There are times that I weep for my people. But as you guys know, I'm attempting to get to the States because living in Canada under the thumb of a tyrannical government it's not acceptable for me. Now, yeah, I've had people, some joking, some fairly seriously, suggest to me that I should simply hop the border, that I might be better off that way. In a practical sense, I might be, but that's not something I can envision myself doing. It's getting quite windy outside. I'm going to close that window again. But for me, with the issues in my past, one of the things I acquired was a strong sense of integrity. And it's something I don't want to surrender, except in extremis. Now, as I just mentioned, oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. As I just mentioned, I'm trying to build something up, and I'm trying to get to the United States. There is a donation link below, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment for this. I will be doing my live stream tonight at 8:30 Newfoundland time. You'll have to do a quick web search to find out what time that would be for you if you're interested in watching. I know that the Eastern time zone in the United States is an hour and a half difference. So if it's 8:30 here, it's 7 o'clock there. And then each time zone moving westward is an hour earlier. So if you're in BC and you want to watch my live stream, that's 4.5 hours difference, so you turn it on at 4 o'clock. In any case, talking about the state of Newfoundland tends to demoralize me, but talking about Newfoundland dogs always makes me smile. And if you're not aware, the Newfoundland dog breed and the Labrador dog breed are both from this province, both created by my people. Both amazing dogs. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys are having a good day. I will talk to you later. Love you all. Bye-bye.